The next slide. Can I stop? Good morning, everyone. Hope you are safe and well. It's Hera from Elliott Management Consulting. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on economic substance regulations in UAE. Elliott Hadi Shahid and Elliott Management Consulting started their operations in 1976, covering the field of audit, assurance, advisory, and consultancy services. AMC maintained its high credibility and reputation more than 42 years. We have offices across UAE, strategical in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, and Al Ain. Our firm is a proud member of Elliott Grow, an international alliance of independent accounting, law, and consulting firms. Founded in 1979, this alliance of independent firms now has more than 170 members firm in some 200 offices in over 70 countries. As you know, we provide services like tax advisory, human resource, legal services, quality and management consultancy, fraud detection and prevention services, information technology, trade and offset consulting, business consulting, and economic substance regulations. Now I would like to introduce our speakers. First, I would like to introduce Said Imran Ahmed. He is our partner. He is CPA CMA, member of Institute of Financial Accountants in the United Kingdom. More than 25 years of experience working with professional firms, including Big Four. Area of specialization includes audit, project feasibility, studies and business advisory for startup businesses, and he's in charge of ESR regulation services. Now I would like to introduce Mr. Samir Ahmed Shahid. He is our partner, certified public accountant, a business graduate from USA, a chartered business consultant from Chartered Association Business Administrators, Canada, certified financial consultant from Institute of Financial Consultants, Canada, and a member of Accounting and Auditing Association UAE, member association CPA UK. Today's agenda will be as follows: economic substance regulations and implementation in the UAE, UAE economic substance regulation update, business subject to the regulations, license and exempt entities, relevant activities, requirements to pass ESR test, to-dos, and administrative penalties. You are welcome to ask questions. Put your questions on our chat, so we will reply you soon. Now I would like to invite Mr. Samir Ahmed Shahid for introduction of economic substance regulations in UAE. Yes, Mr. Samir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to you all. Today's topic, as you know, is the economic substance regulations. The regulations require UAE-based companies, the onshore and the free zone companies, and UAE businesses forms that carry out any relevant activities to maintain an adequate economic presence in the UAE relative to the activities they undertake. The UAE introduced the ESR to honor UAE's commitment as a member of the OECD and OECD Inclusive Framework on BIPs, and is responsive to review the UAE's tax framework by the EU, which resulted UAE being included on the EU list of non-cooperative territories for tax purpose. The issuance of this economic substance regulations was on 30th April 2019, and subsequently there was a guidance on the application of the regulation on the which was released on 11th of September 2019, which was a requirement for the removal of the UAE from the EU's blacklist which was done on 10th of October 2019. The purpose of the regulation is to ensure that UAE entities that undertake certain activities are not used to artificially attract profits that are not according to undertake in the UAE. There are authorities, free zones and mainland which are subject to these regulations, which are Ministry of Economy. It's basically applied to all mainland companies. The submission can be done through the portal, and the notification date is on 30th June 2020. For the DIFC, this regulation applies to all licenses, and the documents can be submitted by the portal, and the deadline for the notification is 30th June. For the Dubai DMCC companies, it applies to all licensees incorporated prior to 31st December 2019. And the submission can be done through the portal, DMCC portal, and the deadline is 30th June 2020. For the Dubai Aviation City Corporation, it is applied to all licenses, and for the finance undertaken the relevant activity during the financial year ended 31st December 2019. And and there should be a report submitted by 31st December 2020. The process can be submitted through the email as it is given here, and the deadline for that was 7th of June 2020. For the DABZA, which is Dubai Airport Free Zone, it is if the companies are into the relevant activities, then they are subject to the this regulation. And the deadline was 3rd of May 2020. For the DWTC free zone companies, if they undertake the relevant activity, then this regulation is applied to them. And deadline for them is 30th of June. And for the Dubai Development Authority, it only applies to those companies who take the relevant activities and can be submitted to the DDA portal, right? And deadline for this is 25th of June, 2020. For the ADGM, it is subject to those companies who are taking the relevant activities, and they were only the companies which were incorporated up to 30th April 2019, and there has to be a report notification submitted by June 30th, 2020. For the Sharjah Airport Free Zone, if they undertake, it only applies if those companies take the relevant activity. The deadline for notification is 30th of June. For the Ras Al Khaimah International Corporate Center, It is for the all licenses, but for all the licenses, but it has to be done through the registered agents, right? And can be done through the RACE's website. The deadline for the notification is 30th of June. For the Fujairah free zone, there has been no official circular as of today, and for the Ajman free zone, it applies to all licenses, and the deadline is 30th of June 2020. This regulation is subject to the following businesses: banking businesses, insurance businesses, investment fund management businesses, lease finance businesses, headquarter businesses, distribution and service center businesses, shipping businesses, holding companies, and intellectual property businesses. The license, this regulation mainly applies to license holders, basically the company owners. It can be national or corporate owners who are licensed by the authority to carry out relevant activity. It also applies to UAE onshore and free zone companies, partnerships, branches, and other forms of businesses in UAE. License may include commercial license, certification of incorporation, or form of permit. For the this is exempt to any company which has majority owned by UAE government, federal, can be federal or emirate, or directly or indirectly, or licensee that did not carry out relevant activity during the financial year. Thank you very much. Back to you, Hira.
Thank you, Mr. Samir, for your insightful information. Attendees, if you have any question, please send us via chat or email so we will send our response to you. I would like to invite Mr. Imran for further details of the relevant activities. Yes, Mr. Imran?
Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will take forward the relevant activities what Mr. Samir has already mentioned before. So let's start from banking business. Banking business means the business of accepting deposits of money which may be withdrawn or that are repayable on demand or after a fixed period or after notice by check or otherwise, and the use of such deposits either in whole or in part in the making or giving of loan, advances, overdraft, guarantees or similar facilities, or the making of investment for the account and at the risk of the licensee. Now here is the key word is to accepting deposits of money from the general public and lending it to them, to the public, or making investment. Now any business which is involved into this, they come under the banking business. Now banking business, if like suppose the money exchange business, they are not accepting the deposits, they are not lending, they are into the buying, selling of currencies and in remittance business. So they do not fall under this ESR regulations, as well as the companies which are investing in the buying and selling of shares and other things, they are also not under this law. Now, the second one is insurance businesses. Insurance businesses means the business of accepting risk by effecting or carrying out contracts of insurance in both the life and non-life sectors, including contracts of reinsurance and captive insurance arrangement. Here also the key word is the accepting risk by effecting or carrying out the contract of insurance. So insurance companies business, of course, they will fall under this. but the brokerage house and the insurance agents companies or any other related services, insurance related services businesses will not be under this regulation. Next is investment fund management businesses. The investment fund management business encompasses licensees that provide discretionary investment management service in relation to domestic or foreign investment fund. Of course, advisory services on this one will not be included in it. Next is lease finance businesses. The definition of lease finance business encompasses licensees that offer credit or financing for any kind of consideration and includes intra-group financing. As you know, that lease financing is very common here in this part of the world, and many finance companies are there. They are giving the lease financing. Here the key again, intra-group financing, meaning if any company which is established in UAE and they are giving the loan to their group companies, to their subsidiaries, or they are giving the loan to the outside the UAE to any group companies or to any other company with some sort of the consideration, means some interest amount or nothing. So they will fall under this category, under this activity, and they will have to report it. Headquarter business. This is also very important, which we should understand it very carefully because it's very complicated also and it's very easy also. Now, a licensee is regarded carrying on a headquarter business if the licensee provides services to foreign group companies and through the provision of such services. The licensee takes on the responsibility for the overall success of the group. The licensee is responsible for an important aspect of the overall group performance. Now here I would like to mention that if any subsidiary is outside of the UAE, then only this will be considered. Within the UAE, if any companies are doing business transactions between this related party or the group companies, so there is no problem. But if the headquarter, meaning that any subsidiary which is located outside the UAE and they are taking care of those activities, they are giving financing, they are managing, they are involving into their day-to-day businesses. So this will come under the headquarter business. Shipping business. To understand the shipping business, a licensee must operate one or more ships in international traffic for the transport of either passenger, cargo, or both. Here also, shipping business means you should operate one or more ships in international traffic. Suppose if you own any ship and you do not operate it, so you will not come under this ESR. Yeah, for this particular activity, you should be able to operate any ship. You should manage the ship. You should pay the staff salaries there and all those things. Then only shipping business will come. Otherwise, if you just own and you do not operate it, so you will not fall under this category. Holding company. A holding company business is defined under Article 1 of the regulations as a business that is a holding company in accordance with the law applicable to the licensee. Carrying out such activity has its primary function the acquisition and holding of shares or equitable interest in other companies. Does not carry on any other commercial activity. Yes, here there are so many companies, they are doing their own work, business also, and they are holding the shares in any other company. So they will not fall under this relevant activity. Holding company means they are holding the shares in other companies and they are receiving dividends or any other profit share or whatever it is. Then you have to report it as a holding company. Next is intellectual property business. A UAE business is regarded as carrying on an intellectual property business if it holds, exploits, or receives gross income from intellectual property assets. Meaning, if you are receiving royalty from any business against any intellectual property assets, then this category, this activity will fall on you if you are into this type of business. Now the distribution and service center business. This is my favorite activity, you can say, because this is the most popular here in UAE, because we are the trading hub of the things. So distribution and service center business refers to two distinct activities that are covered under one relevant activity heading. Number one, a licensee is considered engaged in distribution business if the licensee purchases raw material or finished goods products from a foreign group company and distribute those raw material or finishes goods. Now here the key word is foreign group company, which is very important, meaning that suppose if you purchase any raw material or a finished product from a foreign group company, means they are related to you, they are maybe your partner or one of the shareholders is a partner, or it is not necessary even they don't have direct link, but they have a control power on your company, so they will be considered as a foreign group company and it will fall under the definition of foreign group company. Now, if you import as a UAE company, whether you are based in any free zone or in the mainland, if you purchase any goods, any finished product, raw material from them and import it into UAE, and then from here you distribute to out of UAE to any other country, then you fall under this category, under this service, and you'll have to report it as a relevant activity. In this situation, suppose here you are making that, okay, from the foreign group company you are importing, then you are importing goods into the UAE and you are distributing in the local market, then you will not fall under this category and you are not conducting relevant activity trading. For important part of this here that you should import it from a foreign group company or a foreign related person or a foreign connected person, then only you have to do it. If any goods you are buying from the foreign connected person and is going directly from, say, from the USA based foreign group company to your company to India, to Pakistan, and goods are not reaching the land of UAE, soil of UAE, then it will not fall under this activity. So this should be very clear that the base is the purchases of raw material from any foreign group company, foreign related person, foreign connected person, and goods should come to UAE, and from here you distribute the other part of the world. Then it will fall into this activity. And apart from that, suppose if you have a company turnover is about 200 million, and out of that you are purchasing the raw material or finished good from your foreign group companies, say about 20 million dirhams. So you have to report only 20 million dirham income, not the 200 million, what is your total income. So the second part, which is the part of these services, which is a licensee is considered engaged in a service center business if it provides consulting, administrative or other services to a foreign group company, and those services are in connection with the foreign group company's business outside the UAE, meaning export of services. Export of services, it includes consulting, which is a very wide scope, and to your foreign group company. Suppose your office is registered in any of the free zone or in the mainland, and you are providing consulting services to your foreign group company, which is based in India, which is based in USA, based in Europe, then you fall under this activity and you'll have to report it. And for this type of the activities, like Mr. Samir has already mentioned, that if you are based in the free zone, so all companies are required to notify to the authority, relevant authority, before 30 June, except for a couple of the free zones. Rest all free zones are required that you have to notify them. And if you fall under this, under any of the relevant license or activity, then you have to submit a return before 31st December 2020. Now, ESR test for companies to consider. Now, suppose you have already notified to the authorities that you fall under any one of the activity or any two of activities, then what test you have to pass? I mean, there is some steps are there which you have to perform. In order to perform the test, you have to see these things. Now, one is conduct core income generating activities within the UAE. Next is have directors and management in UAE. Have an adequate number of qualified staff to perform activities physically present in the UAE. Incur an adequate level of operating expenses in the UAE. Have adequate physical assets. Again, it depends what is adequate, appropriate, sufficient. It depends on things. Suppose if you have a turnover of 200 million and you are keeping only one staff, maybe it is not adequate, maybe it is not sufficient, maybe it is not reasonable. So you have to show substance. You have to show that, okay, whatever the expenses you are incurring within the UAE or operating expenses are there, these are matching with your income. This is what is the requirement. So there is no hard and fast rule that what is adequate, maybe 20,000, maybe 100,000, maybe 1 million dirhams. So this is, you have to assess it. And I hope that the authorities will issue some guidelines on these things, but very much doubtful if they will come up with this. Now, after the seminar, what you have to do? The seminar you have to do, assess your business carefully if you fall under any of the relevant activity. You see, here I would like to add and mention that suppose, like if you have a company and you have two licenses, one is the commercial trading, the other one is a services license. So you have to see that under which category, under which activity you fall for this, whatever we have explained to you right now. And suppose if you have a license of general trading from any of the prison and you are providing services to your group company in India, whether you are licensed or not licensed, if you are making any business which fall under this activity, you have to report it. So here substance over form will apply, and you have to look into the transactions, what you have performed, what you have done, what you have. So don't go as per your license. No, my license is only trading, so I will not report for any services which I have performed. So please look into this matter carefully, because the penalties and fines are very huge, very heavy fine. And then submit notification to relevant authorities before 30th June, which is, I think, in all the free zones and in the mainland, it is required that you have to file, you have to notify them. Then if regulations do not apply on your company, then relax, notify, and you don't have to do anything. If you fall under any relevant activities, then assess the amount, type of income earned from the relevant activities. As I mentioned you earlier, see, your turnover is about 200 million, but the relevant activity which you performed during the year, during one financial year, you have to assess the amount. Maybe out of 200 million, you have performed only 30 million as the part of the relevant activity. So you have to report only for 30 million, not 200 million. Same type of the income. You see, you have to, like in the banks, their banks are there, they are accepting deposit, they are doing everything, but they may have some other side income which they are not mentioning for their license or something. So that is what you have to assess your business activities, business transaction very carefully, and then you have to assess the amount, type of income earned from the relevant activities. Same way, hold board meetings with quorum of the director physically present in the UAE. What is the quorum of the directors? It should be mentioned in the memorandum of association of your company. If you are a free zone company or a LLC company, And then ensure board meeting minutes are signed and maintained in UAE. We should have a proper record for all these things. Identify the amount and type of expenses and UAE-based assets and ensure access to assets. Access to assets, it could be through agreement, through the financial records, that you should be able to prove it that, okay, these are my assets. See, if I have an office on the rent, so we should have the tenancy contract with us. You should be able to prove it that, okay, this is what I am spending. You cannot say that I have taken an office on the rent, but I don't have any tenancy contract. So you should be having all these supporting documents with you. Then the next is identify the UAE-based number of employees and their qualification responsible for carrying a licensee and relevant activity. This is very important. See, there are, if you are providing any specialized services to your foreign group company, you should be having proper employee who is conducting, who is performing that activity. You cannot say that I have an office boy in my office and you are performing this relevant activity. So you have to take care of all these things. You have to look into these things. You have to look the transactions. You have to look your business, assess it properly. Otherwise, hire any advisor who can assess your business transactions and your business properly. Now, administrative penalties. As you can see from here, the heavy penalties, fines, and for inaccurate information for the notifying failure in the notification, 10,000, 100,000, and then eventually they will not renew your license. So be prepared for that. And one more thing which I would like to add here, that you are required to keep this info about your business information and documents at least for 8 years. Now 1 year, which is your accounting year, of course, which you will be maintaining it. Then after 1 year, you'll have a 12 months time to file the return. So 2 years, and after 2 years, you are required to maintain 6 years information. So in total, you are required to keep the business information and documents for 8 years, because in those 8 years, authority can come or he can ask any documents, any supporting from you or something, or maybe they will hire any third party to audit your accounts, to look into your transactions and to all those things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Imran, for sharing insightful information. We have received good number of questions on the subject. As there is a big interest from attendees, we have time limitations, so I will ask few questions to Mr. Imran. Yes, Mr. Imran, is this regulation applied on all countries in the Gulf under OECD?
In my opinion, no, because these regulations will apply only on the tax haven countries. Like in the Gulf, we can say that Bahrain and UAE, because they don't have any type of a taxation like income tax or corporate tax. So, and outside this Gulf area, you can say British Virgin Island, Isle of Man, Cayman Island, Jersey, any other offshore center, these economic substances will apply. And I would advise to all the attendees that if you are holding any, or if you have any offshore company, please contact your registered agent or intermediaries that what and when you have to submit or notify to the relevant authorities there, because they have also started asking from the offshore companies directors and the shareholders to notify them if they are conducting any relevant activities. So please contact your agents in order to be not to face any fine or penalty onto this.
Okay. Is it possible to submit single notification for more than one company if partners are same?
No, basically this ESR, economic substance regulation, apply on each licensee. So suppose if any company is having 5-6 trade licenses, so each licensee has to apply. You cannot submit, no, this is a part of the particular group or something. So you will file one notification or one return. No, for each licensee or each trade license, whatever you have it, you have to file it separate.
Okay. Is UAE tax residency certificate proof of meeting the economic substance test?
Not at all, because UAE residency certificate has nothing to do with this. UAE residency certificate is issued on the basis of how many numbers you have lived, how many days you have lived in UAE and all those things. It is not, it cannot be linked with this ESR regulations. However, this certificate, residency certificate, is good for the people if they want to submit any. They want to take any tax exemptions and all things in their own countries. So they can apply individually or on the basis of the company, they can apply for the tax residency certificate from the Ministry of Finance UAE.
Okay. We have an LLC company in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Which authority we have to report?
Okay, all mainland companies are required to report to Ministry of Economy. If you fall under any of the relevant activity, if you do not fall if you are not conducting any of the relevant activity, then you are not required to notify them. But every year you have to look your status and see if any of the subsequent year, if you perform anything, if you perform any relevant activity, you need to report it to the Ministry of Economy. And for the banks, they have to notify to the UAE Central Bank. If any banks which are established in any of the financial free zones, so they have to report to relevant financial free zone like NDIFC or like ATGM, all those things. Yes, please.
Offshore companies registered in free zone are subject to ESR?
I think our attendees are very intelligent people. They are asking very good questions. So I have to think about this. Well, offshore companies, suppose they are registered in Jebel Ali free zone or in Ras Al Khaimah free zone or in Ajman free zone, if they are conducting or involved in any of the relevant activity, yes, they have to report and they have to submit the return at the end of the year. And in some free zone, as I mentioned, that all companies are required to notify, and in few zones, like couple of free zones, they are asking only if you perform the relevant activities. So please check, please assess your business transactions, not the trade license activity or whatever is mentioned on the activities on the trade license. Please go through your business transactions carefully and then notify it.
Okay. My next question is, do the activities listed on commercial license determine whether a license undertake a relevant activity or not?
Yeah, I think I have mentioned about this earlier, that okay, free zone or in any other company, you have a license for any, suppose this trading license, but you are conducting any services, you are offering services to any of your foreign group company, then you are required to report, although it is not mentioned in your license, but you must report it. You must report it.
Okay. What if a license undertake relevant activity but does not earn any income from the activity during a financial period?
Okay, so it will not fall under the regulation, but you have to notify it.
Okay, what is educate and appropriate economic substance?
I think this also I have already mentioned in my briefing, that there is no hard and fast rule, or there is no fixed thing that what is appropriate, what is educate. It depends upon the business volume, business transactions, and whatever is the authority, in the opinion of authority, is educate, that you have to see, and that you have to be are reasonable, that okay, what is reasonable? Suppose if you are conducting 200 million turnover business, or you are providing services to your company in a large scale way, and you don't have any staff, so it is not adequate. Of course, you need to have proper office, you need to have proper staff, qualified staff, relevant staff, if you are performing or if you are offering relevant activity to any of your foreign group company.
Do the regulation only apply to UAE entities that are part of a foreign multinational groups?
No, it applies on all companies, all entities. It has nothing to do that whether it is 49% owned by the foreigners or foreign companies or something. Or if it is owned by 100% UAE nationals, it will apply on to them also. So there is no exception on this. If you perform any relevant activity, you are required to notify and submit the return at the end of the year, which is now 31st December 2020, and every year you will be required to submit. It's not the first year and the last year. No, this is the first year and second year and onwards. It will continue.
Sir, my last question is, what if some license holder do not respond to authorities given deadline?
You see that we have already mentioned that heavy fines are there, like 10 to 50,000 dirham. That is why I'm requesting and I'm advising to all the attendees that please review your transactions, please go through your transactions in detail, whatever you have performed in the year 2019, from the January 2019 till 31st December 2019, and review and report it. Please review, assess, and report it. This is very, very important.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Imran, for sharing insightful information about ESR. Elliott Management Consulting provide professional services for ESR. So if any of your companies require services, please contact us on our email. We will be very happy to provide your services. We will update you soon for our next webinar. Thank you everyone for your presence. Stay safe, take care of your health. We will look forward for next sessions. Goodbye.